So the first thing we got to talk about this week is PTCG Live with it's a big update, but it does feel like this should have been in the initial release of the game. Is it 3 years now? 4 years? How long has it been since the beta dropped?
This is something that people have been wanting since the very beginning of TCG Live. They tweeted out today a new update is now available for Pokemon TCG Live. Read up on the second phase of in game changes from our latest developer letter and patch notes. We've got those things we're going to look at here. So, patch notes here. Hello, everyone. Pokemon TCG Live game client will be updated on December 3rd, 2024. The game will be offline starting at 8 a.m. and is estimated to be down for 8 hours. Please see below for the list of changes. First off, they just list a few cards that have gotten changed where there was like an interaction that didn't work correctly. So,
Yeah.
that's going to happen, of course, with every update. When you got a million cards, not everything is going to work perfectly, though it should. But anyway, general here. And this, first off, right off the bat, is the biggest change. Players who reach Arceus League will now only play against other Arceus League members and can now see and show off Elo, not ELO, Elo, which starts at 1500. This is
Once you're
how
a
it
legend.
works in the Pokemon video game in-game ladder, like Scarlet and Violet. At least it's
Yeah.
how it worked in Sword and Shield, because I played a little bit of the in-game ladder in Sword and Shield and got to the Master Ball tier, the highest tier. And then you would only play against Master Ball tiered players.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
assume it's the same in Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy to get to. It's pretty easy, pretty quick to get to Arceus League now. So that
Yeah.
shouldn't be like a huge deal. I was just like curious. 'Cause I didn't like realize that was like a thing. But yeah, they're adding what we've been asking for a long time, which is like once you achieve a certain rank, and it doesn't matter how easy or hard it is to get to that rank, and the rank is Arceus League, you are now put into an ELO system. And this is exactly how Hearthstone does it. Hearthstone, you climb through the ranks, and then you get to Legend. In the PTCG Live, it's Arceus League. Put in an ELO system where you then I assume Chip brought this up before we started recording, that it doesn't talk about who you'll be paired up against, but the current system pairs you up against people of similar rank. I guess for this last month, everyone was capped at 550 Arceus League. So this last month was weird, but months prior to that, you could climb up higher in Arceus League.
Yeah.
And yeah, once you were in Arceus League, you weren't playing against people down in like Pokeball League. So there was some um, amount of trying to match you against seemingly similarly ranked opponents. So I assume it'll be the same for the ELO or ELO system.
They'll
It's
try to match you against people who have a similar ELO.
Yeah, so that should be there. The problem with this, of course, is still that there is no mention of a public leaderboard. So there's still no way to tell what your rank is
It's like
versus other
ranked
players' rank.
without there being
A
a
rank.
rank.
But yeah, at the end of the day, none of it matters if you don't know what rank you are. Because you could be Arceus League 3K Elo, but you could be rank like 1000. I mean, that's probably pretty high, so you probably won't be, but like you just won't know.
So the way it works in VG, in at least like I said in Sword and Shield, the way it worked was when you got to Master Ball tier, it showed you what your ELO rank was. Um, Actually, is that even true? Am I misremembering? I want to say that it showed you your ELO rank, and then also next to it showed you your actual rank. But now that I'm thinking about it, it might have just showed you your actual rank, and the ELO was like hidden.
Okay. Which is
But
also
you
just
would
like fine,
you would always play against people who are of a similar
right?
rank to you in the
Yeah.
Master Ball tier.
And I'd be fine with that if they just didn't show your ELO, but only showed your rank. Showing both is best, but
Yeah,
also just
sure.
only showing your ELO, but then also
This is the
showing
worst of the 3 options, just
yeah.
showing ELO, not
Yeah.
showing rank.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even think about that way. Yeah, but just showing rank would have been better than this. Showing ELO and rank is better than that. And then showing ELO rank and then having a leaderboard where you can go see who is rank 1 through whatever. They don't even have to show like the full they don't have to even show everyone in Arceus League. Even if they just showed like the top Even if they just show the top 100, that'd be interesting, but probably more like the top 1,000 would be more reasonable. Like the top 1,000 players in Arceus League currently. Um, but instead, they've given us an ELO system, but it doesn't really mean very much. And that's what I tweeted out earlier was this doesn't mean a whole lot without a public leaderboard. And it doesn't really mean that much without a public leaderboard. It is an improvement on the current system, but this should have also been in the game 4 years ago. It's like this is a thing that should have been in the game on day one, but you only gave us half of it. I feel like they always only like give us half of it, and it should have been in the game on day one. Like Oh, like the recent thing they changed, and this isn't even a gameplay thing, but with like getting rid of the coins, only having crystals because there is no microtransactions, just going down to like one uh battle pass instead of a premium battle pass, which once again the premium battle pass doesn't really make any sense without microtransactions. Those are probably things that should have been in the game day one. Instead, it's like 4 years later. I don't know. Like I don't know. Yeah, everything is coming out 4 years later, and it feels like it's halfway there, especially with this one here, this change. I feel like we say this a lot. Like we're technically moving in the right direction. It's just like I don't know. It's just so tedious. It's like it's taking so long to get any progress towards like oh, this is what the client should look like on day one. Or is what you'd
And
expect a client in the day and age to look
yeah.
like on a day one.
And it's like you can put up with some features being gone. So like TCG Pocket is a good example, right? Um TCG Pocket comes out and the game works well. It does everything it's supposed to do. There's no game breaking bugs, there's no incorrect card interactions. The game works. You can open up your packs, you can move on. But it doesn't have trading, which was touted as a part of the or touted as a part of the game in the initial trailer, but they said trading is coming. Um
Instead of rank
and
ladders coming
there
too, right?
well, I actually don't know that that's true. I think I had said that, but
Oh,
I don't know that that is actually true.
because I
Like,
can't. It's so they need to add a rank ladder because playing the current ladder experience is not very
yeah,
enjoyable.
comes out, it works, does its thing, and it's like there's a scheduled thing of like, okay, trading is going to be a part of the game.
Yeah,
And sure, it's not a perfect game, it's got its problems, whatever. But TCG Live comes out and it's just got it doesn't have a lot of features that the community and people who play the game and play card games in general want. It doesn't have a lot of features and it also doesn't work. So it's just amplified and made to feel even worse. And so like when after years and years and years, the game finally like starts to function, starts to feel better. It definitely feels way better to play now than it did 2 years ago, and definitely than it did 4 years ago. Just like actually playing games. But
that's the thing with Pocket as well. That the gameplay could definitely be like fine tuned a little bit more on that too. It does feel a little tedious sometimes. Things are a little bit
yeah,
slow with the animations and stuff, but it's like 10 times worse on PTCG Live.
yeah.
And yeah, it's like pulling teeth. It feels like to get these updates to potentially even have these things happen. It feels like it takes forever for them to happen, and we don't know if they're ever happening either. They don't like the communication is I guess poor overall. But yeah, you compare it to Pocket, like you said, and it's like, yeah, all these things are happening. They're all coming. It's like you're just gonna have to wait a little bit, and that would be nice to at the very least to know on PTCG Live side of thing. Like in this, I guess we'll read the letter to the community. Maybe in the letter to the community they mention the leaderboard this whole time. So I
I
guess maybe
don't think so.
we should jump over to that.
Well, here,
Unless there's anything else to
let's hit the
mention.
rest of these
Go ahead.
update patch notes things real quick because you mentioned it, but they did say that coins have been removed. All coins in players' inventories have been converted to crystals at a 4-to-1 ratio with a cap of 5,000 coins to be converted to 1,250 crystals. And then all deck cosmetics have had their price converted to crystals. And all avatar cosmetics are now available for all players at no cost. I saw Pilot tweet something saying that like this could be gearing up for the addition of microtransactions into the game.
It feels weird. I feel like you'd want more currencies if you're gonna do microtransactions, but maybe this simplifies it for them.
Yeah, let me see if I find his tweet real fast.
Well, yeah, and like another
He
change that we
said,
don't have that everyone's wanted, we can't mute people from emote spamming. It's so annoying.
yeah. Pilot says there's no way we aren't prepping for microtransactions in TCG Live. Deck cosmetics now cost anywhere from 100 to 1,250 crystals each, up from around 300 coins each. So at
It's all
a
really
four to
expensive.
one ratio, like these things have gotten exponentially more expensive. Like
This is
a set of sleeves was what 300 crystals or
yeah.
300 coins, and then they were downgraded. So you got if it was 300 coins, that would mean you got 75 crystals, right?
Mhm.
At a 4-to-1 ratio. So that would mean that's 10 times more expensive to get these sleeves than it was before. Like, how
Yeah.
does that make any sense? And yeah, then now let's just go ahead and read that developer letter. Says, hello, Pokemon TCG Live community. We hope you've enjoyed the latest release of Scarlet and Violet Surging Sparks and all our recent economy and system changes we've discussed in last month's letter. These changes include adjustments like moving to a singular extended battle pass, reducing the maximum match time, and tweaks made to the ranking system in support of creating a more rewarding gameplay experience. With today's update, we're excited to announce several more changes coming soon to Pokemon TCG Live. These changes include removing coins as a currency, several updates to the in-game shop, and the introduction of Arceus League Elo rankings to the competitive seasonal ladder. Read on below for more details on how and when we intend to implement these updates. Starting today, coins will be retired, so we know that. We talked about that. And shop updates. We talked about those things as well. Here's really kind of the big thing here is the Arceus League ELO rankings. For our most competitive trainers, battling isn't just an activity, it's a way of life. Starting with this update, players who reach League in a seasonal ladder will transition from earning rank points to competing in an ELO-based ranking system. With an ELO-based system, the game will calculate a player's relative skill level, adjusting accordingly after every match played. ELO rankings will start at 1500 and adjust based on wins and losses as you battle against other Arceus League players. Your ELO score will be visible to both you and your opponents, letting the TCG Live community discover who's at the top. I think that last line is pretty funny. Letting the community discover who's at the top. They're not going to show us, we get to discover it.
But yeah, hopefully this doesn't mean that there's not a leaderboard on the way, and hopefully they will eventually add a public leaderboard. And it doesn't even have to be in the client. If it was external, that would be fine. I think Hearthstone's one is external as well. Like you can't there's not an in-game leaderboard. Even if it is
Mhm.
external, that would be like fine. Pokemon.com/PDCGL leaderboard or something.
Yeah, there was a TCG
Yeah.
online leaderboard on the Pokemon website. It wasn't like dirt tied to rankings. It was just your versus points, pretty much. I think, right?
Yeah, it wasn't
Um,
yeah, nothing to do with like an ELO system or something like
yeah,
that.
but it was on Pokemon's website, so there's like the infrastructure there in theory to make something like that happen, right?